Welcome, everybody, to another rendition of The Lone Wolf Show. I'm the Lone Wolf, the owner of Witchcraft TV on Roku television and also on www.witchcrafttv.online and also on your social media platforms. And we have a special guest coming from South Florida involved in a lot of paranormal situations. Self-proclaimed witch. And her name is Jackie. And without further ado, and if you see the bio about her, go ahead and give it a look glance. I think she's very, very smart academically, and we're glad to have her right here on Witchcraft TV. Jackie, how are you doing from South Florida?
Hey guys, doing great. It's nice and cool out. Actually, it's not too hot. I'm in the shade. Great to be on.
Yeah, glad to have you on. I really caught your interest mostly. You said that you were involved as a student of sorts with different organizations down there in South Florida, and Wilcock comes to mind. Tell me about Wilcock and your involvement with Wilcock. What was Wilcock's first name, by the way?
David Wilcock from Ancient Aliens. He
Okay.
had a Ascension mystery school going on during the beginning of the pandemic that I was part of. That was mainly based on learning Law of One, and also it was a pretty in-depth thing. It was, it was a room full of 200 or how many of us on Zoom, and it was live with him.
200.
Him.
Wow.
And he also taught us how to astral project, and he did some hypnosis stuff with us, but he taught a lot of different things. It was pretty in-depth. Yeah.
What do you think is the most adept thing that you learned from this Mr. Wilcock?
I think the astral projection technique, I was only able to achieve it one time, and it was pretty wild. I mean, he taught us how to go into the fields. You have to do it after REM sleep. So like after you wake up in the morning and use the bathroom at like 5 a.m., you're supposed to go back to sleep, and that's when you do it, because you're done. Your brain's done with the REM sleep. So that's when you have the best astral projection. So this exercise, it's pretty, you have to prepare your body for it. You can't just, most people can't just do it. You have to not be on caffeine. You have to, not be taking any kind, you have to have a clean body, and I was only able to do it one time, but I did see a creature in there. It was like they say an astral entity or whatever. And it was a little disturbing. I'm not going to lie. There are things in there that he doesn't really prepare people for. People need to be careful for that kind of stuff. But it was pretty intense. Like 2 minutes in there feels like 2 hours. Also, by the way, I just wanted to say, So that's pretty much it for that part of it.
Tell me about caffeine. Now, why does caffeine obstruct the practice of astral projection?
Honestly, I don't know. And I didn't really have a hard time with it, because for some reason, I wasn't drinking caffeine. I was on this big yoga meditation thing at the time, and I was drinking teas and stuff that like later in the day. I wasn't worried about coffee. Now I drink a lot of espresso coffee. There's no way I'd be able to get off coffee now. But back then it was easy, and he made it a really big deal not to drink coffee, only to get up and drink a glass of water. He made a very big deal about it, about the not having the caffeine. I don't know.
Kind of sounds like some kind of situation where to have a clear mind and to be healthy or non-affected by stimulants to achieve astral projection. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and maybe because your mind rests in a different way. It has to be for being able to. It's got to. But yeah, stimulants would not be good for that probably. And it's such a delicate situation, because the instructions, you could tell he had done it many times, because the instructions he gave were so everything he said was so true. When you go in there, it was like, it's like a matrix of shapes, like kind of like triangles that aren't triangles. They're like shaped differently, and they kind of move, you know, they're like dots with lines kind of connected that can move around, and you're supposed to try and create with them. But before you do that, you're supposed to go in, you're supposed to try and touch something in your room, and if you could pick it up, then obviously, you know, you're supposed to make sure that you're astral projection. You're not supposed to be able to pick it up. Then you're supposed to go in and you're supposed to try and create something. And I had the stuff in my hands, and I'm, you know, trying to make a thing. And then that's when I felt something to my left, and I looked to my left, and that's when I saw the creature in the astral realm. So I was so like taken back, and he said something really like snarky to me, and then I pulled myself. Another part of the astral projection is being able to pull yourself back out of it.
Sure.
And that I did that right away because I was so scared. But that seems like it was like 1 minute went by. That was 2 hours that went by.
Yeah. That sounds like a ride.
Yeah, it was weird. It was super weird.
Honestly, my first encounters with astral projection happened with my studies with the Rosicrucian order. And I read a bunch of, you know, books and things, and bunch of correspondence with the Rosicrucians, and they basically said that people who try to astral project, the majority of them never do it, and it's a hard endeavor.
Yeah. That sounds just like what it is, because I mean, all these years, this was what, the beginning of the pandemic. I've never been able to do it again the same. I mean, I think I might have half-assedly maybe done it once other time, but not the same place. It wasn't the same matrix of shapes, and it was more like a dream realm, you know. It's never, because you have to do a meditation beforehand to go in there. There's an exercise that I don't even remember all of that I used to go in there. I don't think I'll ever really get into that same space that he you know, set me up to go into. So
The first astral projection situation that I can remember is I'm outside in the grass in the sun, and I'm spread out in like a pentacle, and I was kind of like almost like sleeping, and then I was floating in the clouds, and then I dropped back to the ground, and my body bounced up and down. I rolled over, and I seen my body, and I tried to touch it, and I was trying to grab toward it, and then all of a sudden, snap. And that was, I think, because I've only had astral projection experiences probably twice, and that's being honest, that I can really fathom. So yeah, that's my experience with astral projection. But I think it does make sense that you need to be, you know, clear from stimulants. But what about the situation with psychedelic mushrooms or substances that are closer to the earth that help you with astral projection? Do you think that's a thing, or can you do without?
Honestly, I've done a lot of mushrooms in my life, and I'm not a fan. I'm trippy enough without it. When I do mushrooms, I'm kind of a clown, and I'm not like being serious. I'm just like usually laughing and being, you know, being the silly me that when I take mushrooms. It's just I don't get anything done when I'm doing that. So yeah, I don't think that would be a good way for me to do it. I have to be very serious when I do stuff like that, and I am really not serious when I do mushrooms.
So
but that's
you would recommend the practice astral projection without substances? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is astral projection something that you attempt a lot of times with limited success, or do you do it a lot, or do you know, is it like a practice? And tell me about that.
I don't do it anymore because I had a bad experience with seeing that creature in the astral realm. But I got to tell you this: I was taking one supplement that made it easier to astral project, and I would not recommend it. I mean, it can poison your brain. It's that atomic ormus stuff. It's like what do they call it? Monomonadic gold, or I might be pronouncing it wrong.
Not a
That
clue.
gold, it's kind of like Ormus, like Philosopher's Stone, they might
Oh,
say.
nice.
So, which is bad. If it builds up in your system, you can go cuckoo bananas, you know. So I would not recommend that either. But I was at the time, I didn't know that, and that is something that I was taking. It's a meditation supplement. You could get it on, you know, I got it on Amazon. I didn't know that it could be a little dangerous, you know. But I would definitely not recommend it. And I don't know how they're allowed to sell it on Amazon. I really don't.
Right. A lot of FDA approved things that come
Yeah.
out, and and they may or may not, continue or discontinue it depending on. I mean, yeah, I definitely can adhere to that. So tell me about your spirituality. Um, when did you first start indulging in spirituality, and what kind of background do you have with spirituality?
Well, I was very young. I started dreaming things and waking up and they would happen, or dreaming something and waking up to it immediately. And I was getting a lot of visits from dead past past relatives, or anyone who passed, basically. And I was dreaming, they would come to me. So I noticed I was a little bit different early on. And then when I was in about third grade, I my mom would take me to the library, and I started taking out witchcraft books, and I did my first spell. I remember my first spell, I snuck and I found a Christmas candle, because it was a love spell. I was in third grade. I needed a red Christmas candle, and I remember sneaking to do this spell, and my
That's
mom's
cute.
like a strict Catholic, so I had to hide it. I just always have been a witch. I probably was burned as a witch in my last life, because I've always been a natural witch.
So tell me about the books that you were exposed to when you were younger. What are some of the books of the craft and authors that you really related to?
Oh man, I wish I had my book list. I got the best book list ever from my last teacher. I was in Phoenix and Stag's Pagan Wiccan Life Academy for Witchcraft out of Bristol, England, under Drew Lee Nicolas. Wonderful
Good
school.
country.
Yes, wonderful.
Oh,
And
awesome.
wonderful group. And he had the best book list ever. I can't remember, but I did learn out of the Buckland books. But the list, I mean, the book list I had, it was just, I can't remember all the books right now. And I wish I still had, I do have pictures of them. I'd have to look it up. But I did, unfortunately, I got rid of all my books in my travels. There's just too much to lug around. But I've, I've had a lot of books, and just about every good book you could think of. I should have taken a picture of them because they were really good. But yeah, my last teacher had the list, like the list that everybody wants, you know. A lot of books, you know, the Emerald Tablets, the books on Sirius, big into,
Hermetics.
yeah, Hermetics, the Sirius star system books.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm big into Egypt, you know,
Yeah.
the Egyptian gods, Dogon tribe, all that stuff, big into that. David Wilcock was also big into that.
Okay.
I just like the ancient stuff. I'm more moved on to the druid type stuff now, but back a few years ago, I was a different me then, you know. I was a different witch. I was doing different stuff, and now I'm on to completely different stuff now than that. I still love that stuff, but I know all about it, and I'm learning other things.
So I know that David Wilcox was involved in the occult, educational scene, as a seeker himself, and a documentary person and things. Now, you were an active student of David Wilcox?
I was part of the first. He had two schools. He had the Ascension Mystery School, which was the big Zoom one where everyone was. That was the most involved one. The second one was, I got to say, the second one wasn't really that great. I hate to say that, but I did pay for that one too. But I ended up not finishing it because it just got a little too political for me, and it was mainly teaching people like that it's okay to die and what's going to happen. I just wasn't into it. It wasn't like
Right.
it wasn't science enough for me, you know. So
Right. Right. As far as the, contemporary, this is Witchcraft TV. So, I mean, as far as like contemporary witchcraft goes, in conjunction with science, the biggest tradition that embraces science would be the Cabot tradition with Laurie Cabot. Have you studied, or do you have any opinion on science in relation to contemporary witchcraft?
oh man, I am so into it. I come from a science background. I started doing, I was big into studying quantum physics before I got serious about my witchcraft. And I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of new stuff coming out about plasma, is what they used to call ether. Ether is plasma. It makes up 99% of matter here, is what they're calling now plasma. The new stuff coming out about it is just so interesting. And I've just really been following it very closely. I'm big into it, and it's just amazing what's been coming out the last year with the plasma. It's just wild. I'm really into it, and the witches are all been following along with it. I know Dana Kipple on YouTube. She has been writing. She's a young girl. She's so smart, and she's been writing books about it and studying the plasma, following it along. They've called it a lot of different names, throughout the decades, and it's just really amazing how it's all come together this past year with this stuff going on. But yeah, the science stuff, CERN, following CERN, the stuff happening with that, the Schumann resonance, Stefan Burns on YouTube, very interesting stuff. The Earth's heartbeat, the solar, solar flares. I follow all that stuff every day. I check in, and I just, I want to know about it. I love it.
Absolutely. I really love the fact that you talked about the Earth's heartbeat. And to me, I've always thought in my mind is that the core of the Earth is the Earth's heartbeat. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense, because it's filled with plasma, and that makes total sense.
So isn't like the lava that's in the center of the Earth, that is the plasma of the Earth,
Mm-hmm.
Don't we kind of share the same situation in the human heart?
Yeah, I mean, it's all different, but it's all the same. It's all the way that the one girl that's been really talking about it, the way there's different types of plasma, and there's all different kinds. It's not really my specialty, so I don't know what to call the different types, but it's just really amazing how it just all makes so much sense. And with the witchcraft, it's like the plasma field, it kind of is like, it's intelligent, but it's not intelligent to the point where like it knows what it's doing. It's kind of like a wild animal. They kind of work on instinct. If you chase an animal, it's going to run, and it doesn't really have a reason for why, except for you chased it away. The plasma works kind of like in the same way. It's still a wild thing, so the way it reacts, everyone's learning about it and how to work with it. It's just really a great witchy thing to think about and get used to working with. It's just really cool.
Seems like your mind is very academic and things. Do you embrace more Carl Jung or Freud?
I'd say Carl Jung.
Why?
I don't know. I think that's because I've had books of his before, and I don't think I've had a Freud book.
Okay. Very cool. So as far as different academic things that you're involved in, what kind of academic schools are you involved in at the moment? And are you a teacher in one of these schools or just a student?
I am not a teacher, but I'll tell you what, if I was a student again, and I'm kind of like an addict of going on to these live classes. I just love it. There are great teachers out there right now that
So you're
I
versatile.
love to be part of their class, but it's just not in my budget right now.
Right.
But I love learning, especially about witchcraft. It's just, I've tried many times. You know, there's a lot of things you do in witchcraft that scares you sometimes. And many times over the years, I've literally tried not to be a witch. I've literally thrown all my stuff out and said, that scared me. I'm not, I didn't have a support system. I would put my stuff in the garbage. And then 2 months later, I'd end up buying everything again and doing it again, because you can't, if you're a witch, you can't like just turn it off. You're a witch. It's not something you choose. You just are. So you just have to learn to figure it out and do it the best you can without, screwing up too bad.
From what I understand, witch, in my own cognitive thinking, witch basically means wise one of humanity. So I'm thinking that it's just a witch is just someone that wants to know more than what the general masses and general teachers of that time period want to teach you. So you just kind of want to dig deeper.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it sounds like you're just seeking around, and you're right. There's a lot of different schools, academies, organizations, orders, magical orders that would love to have students, but well, they have a processing feed.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that a lot of this stuff, and well, at least in some traditions of contemporary witchcraft, that type of knowledge isn't supposed to be sold. It's supposed to be sought, blessed are the seekers and blessed are the sought kind of situation, particularly with witches in contemporary times. So I do feel like I'm with you right there on the front lines. We will not pay for knowledge. We are seekers of knowledge.
Yes.
I'm with you there. Because let's keep it real. There's a lot of misinformation because you never really know what you're paying for one.
Oh, yeah.
Not that the information is not valuable.
Yeah.
Do you feel like occult knowledge or training should be compensated with financial gains to the organizations or teachers that are teaching it?
I think don't hate the player, hate the game. Everyone has to make money, but
Yeah.
I think the real thing is, if you just take those classes and you don't look for yourself, you're missing a piece of the puzzle all the time. You're never going to have it all, because not everyone is meant to learn the same thing. So when you're learning based on, it's more personal, and I feel like you learn more when you do it yourself. And I feel like I've learned more looking myself this past couple years than taking classes. The classes I learned stuff with, but not what I needed. What I needed is the stuff I found myself.
Somebody from the comments out here, because we are live, we didn't advertise the show. It's kind of a sneaky podcast with the best of Witchcraft TV in the United States and also worldwide. Victoria, Hollywood, Florida here. What's up, FLA? We love you. Bless be. I can totally relate to this podcast. Like, subscribe. Yeah, definitely. Like, subscribe. Love us on YouTube. The motive was great content for Roku television worldwide. But yeah, thank you so much, Victoria. Yeah. But yeah, really good stuff. Should we be paying for our knowledge? Let's keep it real with the real seekers. And how much does a seeker really spend? If you're not paying for books and periodicals or classes, or you read a book and you identify with the book, and then in the back of the book, they say, oh, we also have classes and things. And I think, I think it boils down to Hermetic law. And you talked about Hermetics and that you liked Hermetics a lot. And you talked about the Emerald Tablet. And within the Emerald Tablet, it speaks of like attracts like.
Yes.
So if something relates to you and it attracts it to you, and you find a teacher that's kind of on your same level, you just kind of like, whoa, that's where I'm going. That's what's up. So yeah, and a lot of things, but also at the same token, not to steal your show, because this is all about you, Jackie, really, that when you begin to explore, the unseen spiritual things or occult things that humanity kind of hides to control the masses, or so to speak. You know, there's a lot of discernment involved.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I like to educate people for free on my page. I have a Facebook page called Abraxa, and I try and teach people the things that interest and help me learn, which is, I really learning Gnosticism and Gnosis was it was a little depressing at first, but it really opened my eyes, and I learned it and I moved on. But
What's the name of your Facebook page?
Abraxa, Abraxa, and it's I try and teach people the things that were helpful to me recently. I still am really big into like the pagan druid, like old Norse like gods and stuff like that. I really went back to the basics lately, just nature, I'm really into it. But you still got to know what the scary truth of what's going on down here. I don't
Right.
like to sit in that all the time, but I like to know, I like to know what's happening with it.
Abraxa page on Facebook. Check it out, and let's get back to the basics. This is our guest's page on Facebook and her social media community. So what's the motive for that particular page? What's the message?
The message is these days, it's like we're living in a giant like commercial ad. Everyone's being sold to, the algorithm is, buy this, do this, everyone break up, everyone, trigger events to like get people to act crazy. Like, I'm just so sick of the way people are being manipulated. I want everyone to wake up and just pay more attention, put their phones down. Maybe don't pay as much attention to your phone, and just don't pay attention to the phone too much. That's all I'm saying. And learn about Gnosis and Gnosticism, and then try to unlearn it. But yeah, no, I want people to be aware,
So in your words, what would be the definition of gnosis or Gnostic? What is Gnostic or Gnosis?
Well, Gnostic is like the Gnostic texts. They're like, it's learning about a lot of banned things that they didn't want you to know.
Emerald tablets.
Well,
No, yes.
no, it's a lot of it has to do with, I hate to go there, but it has to do with a lot of banned things from the Bible. But it also has to do with I like people to learn the stuff on their own because it sounds scary, but it's just learning how to experience things down here without feeding the emotions out. Like, if something happens, view it as if you were like, if something happens that would normally get you emotional, view it as like if you were watching a movie, and don't get yourself worked up, kind of thing. That's what Gnosis is about, observing without an emotional reaction. And the reason for that is Gnostics believe that, there's a demiurge, and they feed off of getting us worked up in our emotions, and they have mass feeding events and stuff like that. It can be a little depressing to learn about, but it's better to know, because you can definitely control your emotions a lot better after learning that stuff. So it's always good for everyone.
I definitely admire your feminine power of the occult. Tell me, to some of our viewers and things, what would be your advice to younger seekers or witches that were just starting out on the path and wanted to forge their own? What would be your advice to them?
Oh, my advice would be just keep believing in yourself, and just, if you want to do something, you can do it. Just keep trying. If there's a will, there's a way. Just keep thinking about it, and it'll happen. It is so true. If you want something, you can make it happen.
Do you have any parting words of wisdom to the witchcraft and pagan and occult community?
I just just want to say I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so grateful for this community and this channel. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
So mold that shit. And merry part for now. And thank you so much for coming on the Lone Wolf Show. I love your occult mind. Hail, hail to the matriarch. This is the Lone Wolf, Harold Carter, signing off on Witchcraft TV on Roku television and also streaming on www.witchcrafttv.online. Bye for now, y'all.